Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to call the Pflugerville City Council meeting, regular meeting to order, February 25th at 7 p.m. If audience would stand for the pledge, U.S. and Texas. Our Veterans Organization is going to lead us in the pledge this evening.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
You may be seated. Okay, our next item is public comment. In accordance with the Texas Attorney General's opinion, any public comment that is made on an item that is not on the published final agenda will only be heard by the City Council. No formal action, discussion, deliberation, or comment will be made by City Council. Each person providing public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. Our first speaker, Mary Heap.
Hello. First of all, I want to say how much I appreciate being able to speak to the council and to you, Mayor Gonzalez. My name is Mary Heap. I live in Old Town, specifically on Pfluger Street. A 60-day notice of an application to sell and consume alcohol beverages is posted on the window of the building located at 701 West Pecan Street here in Pflugerville. The application is dated 12/16/2024, and the applicant is ALT Enterprises, LLC. This property is directly across the street from Pace High School. I graduated on that campus in 1971 when it was 1 through 12. And next to the First Baptist Church. According to information received by the City Planning Department and a City Council member, Pflugerville has not adopted the TABC guidelines for the sale and consumption of alcoholic beverages. Who has adopted those guidelines are the cities of Hutto, Round Rock, and Georgetown. I cannot understand why our city has not done the same. And am here to appeal to the city and this council to adopt an ordinance that does so. I have provided copies of the measurement instructions by the TABC that governs the distance of a bar or a lounge to a public school and public church. Time is important in addressing this immediate concern, and immediate action warrants to protect our community now and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Richard Halpin.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Thank you for your hard work on behalf of the people of Pflugerville. I know you don't hear that often enough, but you should. I want to share my concern with you about this bar, this potential health and safety issue that has come to our Old Town neighborhood attention. An alcohol-centered business is being considered for the former Hookah Lounge at 701 West Pecan. The alcohol business would be immediately across the street from PFISD's PACE program. You all familiar with the PACE program? That educational program is a light in our community. We should protect it. The potential alcohol business would be next to the Baptist, across the street from the Baptist Church, next to the Baptist Church, and adjoining our residential neighborhood. I suspect that all of you are aware of the terribly embarrassing and irresponsible community dangers that an alcohol-related business provoked just a few blocks east from this new proposed alcohol business. Homeowners between South First and South Fifth found their property littered with broken beer bottles, trash, and human waste. Drunken customers and assaultive, loud electronic music made children's bedtimes a nightmare. Many neighbors complained that the noise kept them and ill family members unable to get a decent night's sleep. After multiple attempts to have the alcohol business operators and their customers obey the council's sound ordinance, behave decently, and not getting an adequate response, folks were forced to sell their homes here in Pflugerville. The operators ignored the council's noise ordinance and basic decency. A former neighbor said their Pflugerville experience in that town center neighborhood behind the alcohol business on West Pecan was traumatizing. You can understand this. I mean, how would you feel if you never knew what fight was going to break out in your front yard? Or what human waste was going to be on your front steps? Or what broken bottles and trash was going to be in your driveway? Or was your driveway going to be blocked by a drunken patron's abandoned vehicle? This proposed alcohol lounge would be a terrible attraction and needless threat to the brave young men and women who are at school across the street working hard to make something remarkably positive of their lives. Many of you know this, that many of these young people have had alcohol devastate their growing up and traumatize their aspirations for a happy, healthy, contributing future. The adjoining church property and residential neighborhood would be an easy target for the inebriated patrons to trash and disrespect. This West Pecan proposed alcohol site vehicle entrance and exit is just where Pecan turns from a 4-lane to a 2-lane. This would be a dangerous traffic situation for potential inebriated customers and unsuspecting community drivers. Please, as I close up, please show your Pflugerville leadership and say yes to the TABC regulations and say no to this wrong place, wrong time alcohol establishment. Thank you so much for your respectful attention.
Thank you, sir. Tracy Dockert, welcome back.
Thanks. I'm Tracy Doctor. It's nice to see you all again. I am here again on behalf of the Pflugerville Area Youth Baseball and Softball League, located on Emmanuel Road. I spoke last night in front of many of you. We had our opening ceremonies. I'd like to thank the 2 city council members that came out to that. Thank you. It was nice to be able to talk to you and show you the land as well. Because I only have 3 minutes, I want to touch on something that I forgot last night. So we have the opportunity on June 28th and 29th to host the regional tournament at our fields for the World Series. This isn't like Round Rock, Manor, Pflugerville, that's our World Series. This is the South District World Series. So last year, I should have looked this up, but I'm pretty sure, I think it was like Tijuana, Mexico, I think is who won the World Series last year. So this is huge. This is the last stop. The directors tournament will be in Taylor. They haven't assigned the sectional tournament. The regional tournament will be here, and then they'll go to the World Series. That's huge for us as a city. That's huge for us and our youth. Our kids, last year, we went to regionals. Our Pflugerville team made it to regionals. And I bet nobody here even knew that. We have these kids who are academically striving, these coaches who are holding their academics to a high standard, these parents who are in our community, but yet at the same time having fun and enjoying the sport. This is just a game. There is bigger things in life, we know that. But as a league, we are asking for your support. We have a huge opportunity right now to get some equipment to make our fields look better, but we need the city's help with that and the school as well. We can get scoreboards, which is like upwards of $20,000 per scoreboard, which right now we don't have any that work. We can get those if we have a 3-year lease with the school district, which we're trying to work on. But in order to have those put in, we need new electrical run because we don't have the availability to have that right now. That's a lot of money that we, as a nonprofit 501c3 volunteer-run organization, do not unfortunately have. I've come up here, you've heard my spiel, you're gonna keep hearing it. I'm not gonna go away, but these kids aren't going away either. And these kids are reaching out and asking for support so we can get these things in, but also we can bring Pflugerville into a good light. You guys are really excited about your new center that's coming right across from HEB that will be 1 mile from our fields. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tracy. Alan? And Alan, I'm sorry, I can't read the last name. I know you. McLeod.
Like Delton, see, you knew exactly.
I'd like to thank everybody for having us back. As we said when we was here last time, whenever we would have our first meeting, we would come back and do monthly updates. So we have had our first meeting. I've given everybody a packet. It was a public meeting. So that was our agenda. The next page, on March 5th at 18:30, 6:30, we're going to have, the DAV is going to have its 95th chapter birthday. So we would like to invite you all to partake in that. And and I also would like to thank the Trista, because she's been working with me. Our webpage now for the Pflugerville Advisory Task Force is actually on the city site right now. So thank you so much for allowing that. And then on that page, it has the all the veteran events that we know of. So we are doing things, and we'll just continue to give you updates.
Marching forward. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, I have a couple of proclamations. So let me read the first proclamation here that is proclaiming March 2025 as Women's History Month in the city of Pflugerville. Women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation in countless ways. Women were particularly important in the establishment of charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions. Women served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement and have served our country courageously in the military. The person that will receive this proclamation will be the person that I'm reading the next proclamation for. So I don't want her to come up here twice. Joanne Thornton has dedicated her life to education and access through teaching and public libraries. Joanne was Pflugerville Public Library's first and longest-serving library director. She continues to support education endeavors through her involvement with the Friends of the Pflugerville Library. It is my pleasure and honor to proclaim February 25th, 2025 as Joanne Thornton Day in the city of Pflugerville. The city of Pflugerville would like to extend its appreciation to Joanne and her many contributions and services to the city and the community. And Ms. Thornton, if you'll come forward and accept these two proclamations.
You know that it takes more than one person to make a library. It's all of us.
Come on now.
All of us together. Oh, that's great, thank you.
Beautiful.
You can skip the next agenda item, we're good.
I'll hold it.
Of course, we know the next item is reading of the consent agenda, and council. All right, Trista.
Then with that, all items on the consent agenda may be acted upon in a single motion.
Motion approved.
Second. I have a motion and second to approve the consent agenda. Ms. Holliday. Motion carried. Thank you very much, council. Our next item is a public hearing and ordinances. 6A is to conduct a public hearing and consider approving the first reading of an ordinance with the caption reading, an ordinance of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, amending ordinance number 1203-15-02-24 of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, as amended by changing the zoning designation of the approximately 0.0826 acres being a portion of Lot 4, Block 10, Town of Pflugerville subdivision in Travis County, Texas, from single-family suburban to neighborhood services to be known as the 308 North First Street rezoning, providing for a repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Dr. Yasmin Turk, and I'm the Planning Manager for the City of Pflugerville. I'm presenting the rezoning of 308 North First Street. The applicant's request is to rezone this property. It's within our downtown district within the transitional compatibility zone and has an existing house on the property. It was formerly a home, and the request is to rezone it to neighborhood services with an intended land use of personal services. The property is outlined in black in the current zoning map. There are non-residential land uses currently in the area, such as the State Farm office adjacent to the property and church and city hall buildings nearby. Within the Aspire 2040 plan, we see the property is compatible with the requested zoning change. This was a comprehensive plan amendment made at the last meeting to designate this area mixed-use neighborhood. This table reflects compatibility uses for this mixed-use neighborhood land use designation and is consistent with the proposed zoning request. This rezoning is consistent with the comprehensive plan, consistent with downtown district overlay, has been unanimously approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission, and is recommended by staff. I'm here to answer any questions you may have, and I believe the applicant is here as well. Yes?
Council, questions?
No
Is there anybody from the public wishing to make comment? No?
I make a motion to close public comment.
Second.
You have a motion and second? Oh, somebody, oh, I'm sorry.
What would you want to do with the,
I'm sorry, wait, if you'll come forward, please.
speaking of the mic.
Sorry. Person here.
Yeah.
Hi. No, I was just having a question.
Your name, please?
Oh, Victoria Castillo. I just had a question. What they would want to do with the rezoning, if they get that.
Are you a reporter?
Huh?
No, I think she's a family member.
Oh, okay. Family? Okay.
With what?
Okay, your question is?
Oh, I just wanted to know what would happen if the rezoning did continue. If that happened.
I think she's.
What are they
Yeah.
going to do with the property?
Yeah, that's the question, basically.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, the rezoning would be for personal services, which I would let the applicant come and state if you'd like to come up and share what exactly the plan is for the new designation.
Oh, okay.
the specific business use for the property.
Good evening, City Council. Thank you all for having me. To answer the question specifically, 308 North First Street would be our service rendered to the public for personal services with high-functioning services rendered towards autistic women in a safe environment. Not a lot of traffic. I've been a Pflugerville business owner now for over 20 years, right up the street on First Street. And being able to restructure our new location at 308 North First Street would allow for us to have more of a home, safe, feeling environment for the public services that we will render. In the field of trichology, which is a cross between dermatology and cosmetology, we render services that are more sensitive and that are received in a more comfortable environment, welcoming in people into more of a private space. Also within that location, we're going to have a wellness store and center, which will be able to provide guidance and nurturing towards a healthy lifestyle for people who are dealing with autoimmune disorders and also just high functioning disorders that are not normally recognized either in Western medicine or even traditional medicine. So it's just a way to invite people into a space to render a service that they will be able to feel comfortable and confident living a autoimmune lifestyle in a healthy way, feeling supported. So that is what we're bringing to our community.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Castillo, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Doing homework, basically.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much.
I'm glad I deferred to the applicant because that was a much better description than I would have been able to
Is
provide.
there anybody else wishing to make public comment or have questions? All right. I think we had a motion and a second in between.
Yeah.
Before our further discussion.
Uh-oh.
Now it's your turn.
Yeah, no. Thanks, David Rogers.
Yeah, I broke it.
Okay, motion carried. Could I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve item 6A is presented.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance on first reading. Okay, motion carried. Thank you very much. And thank you, Doctor. Are you up for the next one also?
I'm up for the next
Okay,
one.
all right.
Should I click?
Item 6B, conduct a public hearing and consider approving an ordinance on first reading with the caption reading, an ordinance of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, amending ordinance number 1203-15-02-24 of the City of Pflugerville, Texas, is amended by changing the zoning designation of approximately 5.05 acres of unplatted land situated in the Jacobs Kasner Survey Number 9, Abstract Number 2753 in Travis County, Texas, from agricultural development reserve to single-family mixed use, to be known as the West Glade rezoning, providing for repeal of conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
This is the rezoning case for 2125 Row Loop. This is a 5-acre property currently zoned agriculture, outlined on this map in red. The requested rezoning is to single-family mixed use. This image shows that this property is adjacent to other single-family mixed-use properties at the southern end of the subdivision near Row Lane. This reflects the comprehensive plan, which supports a variety of housing and potential rezoning designations for this land use. This property rezoning request is consistent with the comprehensive plan, is compatible with surrounding land uses, was recommended for approval by the Planning and Zoning Commission 6-1, and staff recommends approval. The applicant has a presentation, I believe.
It's fine.
So, all right, thank you.
City Council and staff, thank you for having me. Yeah, 2125 Row Loop rezone. So it's a 5-acre tract off of Row Loop. The hope is to create a cottage court development, something that kind of falls into the missing middle definition from the Congress for New Urbanism. That's kind of a, it's not high-end single-family housing and it's not apartment buildings. It's somewhere in the middle, nice single-family detached, a walkable community. Part of the cottage court development is a large central courtyard. We're proposing a 2.3 acre central green, which we'll get to the rendering of that in a second. But just for everyone's reference, so we currently own 1741 Row Loop just to the east of the subject tract. The plan would be to rezone 2125 to SFMU to match the zoning of 1741 Row Loop and then develop them as a single lot at some point in the near future. These are the inspiration images for the proposed plan. This is a project outside of Seattle in Washington State. You can see the common courtyard in the middle, surrounded by single-family detached homes, lush landscaping. These are all aspects of our proposed design. This is the latest site plan. We have Sitio Design as our landscape architect, Kip Flores is the architect, and then ALM Engineering as our civil engineer. We're probably, I'd say, 3 to 4 months into the design process. We've spent a decent amount of money on soft costs to get to this stage, with the hope that City Council is receptive to our rezoning request. But I think this image really paints the picture of what we're hoping to accomplish here. Call it moderate density, single family detached housing. I think a lot of council is familiar with what we've done at Blackhawk, which is a project that we're very proud of. I think it's an asset to Pflugerville, and the hope would be for this project to be of a similar quality to the Blackhawk master plan community. It wouldn't be, it's not within the same mud, it's not within the same HOA, but just from a quality perspective, that's what we plan to deliver with this project. These are actual renderings of the proposed elevations. Substantial masonry component. The plan is to have kind of a coastal pastel color feel. We think it's cool. We hope the neighbors think it's cool. Once again, lush landscaping, really hoping to deliver a quality project. And that's it. Happy to answer any questions from City Council or the public.
I have some questions.
Yeah, I like how he says that and he backs
Let's talk
away.
about this lush landscaping. It's a lot easier to get water on your lawn in Washington State than it is around here.
It's true.
Water is a continuing issue. Are you really going to be able to keep that bright green like that all year round, or are you going to run into problems when we have, as we currently have, water restrictions? Is that the right way to go, or do you need to do a xeriscaping?
It's a great question. It's something we talk about all the time in our office. We do have some xeriscaping, David. You can see kind of red outline on the plan. I mean, admittedly, it's a fraction of what the landscaping is, but there is the opportunity for us to flex, call it ornamental grasses with xeriscape. That said, the plan would be for Bermuda grass, which we would not water outside of really the summer and late fall season. So let it go dormant in the winter. The spring, hopefully you're not watering. The summer is really when you get hit. We do have all of our
The summer
LUEs.
is when it turns brown, you mean?
Yeah. Yes. We do have all of our LUEs secured with Manville.
Manville?
Yeah. And so, and I will say some of the trees that are shown there, David, are or Councilman Rogers, apologies, are
That's all right.
existing trees. So we're not going to be able to save all of the existing trees, but we're going to try our best to allow as many as possible to remain. But that said, happy to sit down and have a conversation about more hardscaping. And it's, to be clear, we're not going to make it the Washington State project. I mean, this is 10 out of 10 from a, call it a landscaping standpoint. We're probably a 6 or 7 out of 10, and so it's not going to look quite as lush as what's shown here. So
Yeah,
trying to
well,
take into account kind of native plants and drought resistant.
I love the
species.
idea. I'm a big fan of the big, traditional green English lawn or the Seattle lawn. I just, we need to set expectations at a realistic level, and
Well, I think,
that bright green lawn is it doesn't strike me as realistic. Building keeping trees and growing trees is a whole different deal, but. We're all the time and once a week watering. That big lawn is not going to survive with once a week watering. It's
So
just
would-
not going to look that way.
would you concede to almost green?
Sure, yeah.
Almost green. You mean
Almost
like
green
brown?
works, yeah, it's a technical term.
Brownish green,
Yeah.
greenish brown,
Yeah,
whatever.
brown is
So
brown's
the
okay.
courtyard, is that the maintenance of who's going to pay for the water for that?
So it'll be a homeowners
HOA,
association,
okay.
so the plan would be that will be a common
That's
area
built in.
element that will be, part of the HOA
Is it a
fees.
homeowners association or a condo association? Is this platted individually or is this one big lot with divided interest?
That is a good question. I don't know. I don't know if we've decided on how we want to separate it, but I don't think it'll be individual lots.
You think
That's number one.
it'll be one big
Yes, so
parcel with divided interest?
Yes.
Yeah, it
Okay,
looks
do you
more like a
expect this
condo.
to be divided interest or is it rental? Is this an owned or a rental product?
The plan is condos. Yeah.
Condo, so this would be an
Single-family
owned
condos.
product?
Should this be
Yes.
owned?
All right. Just one other question, it might be a two-part question, but do you plan any integration with the property to the south? I don't know the name of the street, some farm implement themed street down there. Any integration? Because I'm not real excited about the half a street and the lack of connectivity that this plat looks like it demonstrates.
The property to the southeast, I think it's row villas or condos on row. I forget the name of it, but there's no planned connectivity with that project. That's fully built out. There's really no opportunity. I guess there is opportunity to connect. I was thinking there were condos in between, but
Yeah, that's a street to the side.
Yeah, our hope is for this to be gated, to create a private element for the condo owners.
Have you talked to the neighbors about that?
The neighbors to the southwest is Lakeside Mud number 1. We've ran it by them. They have no issues that I know of. The neighbors to the north, we have not.
Why haven't you run into the neighbors to the north?
It's a good question. Yeah, we, yeah, I don't have a good answer to that.
And the reason I ask is because, actually, she's an example of this. Several years ago, when we started running multifamily on Pfluger Farm, right? Yeah, Pfluger Farmland. We explicitly spoke to the developers and said, "Have you spoken to the neighbors to see what the neighbors would want?" And we said, "We know one particular neighbor will have a treatise for you to regarding request right there as well." And ultimately, they got a better product and they got buy-in from everybody involved because it was like, "Hey, listen, okay, we may not like what's going on here, but you worked with us on here. You put the set lines, everything else over there, and it worked out really well with that." So you're hearing questions about concerns or everything else, and I'm like, okay, these are ways to offset some of these questions in the future.
No, I mean, it's a fair question because I hear from people who live to the north of you who keep saying the developers keep coming in, they put what they want, they don't talk to us. They're going to eventually gobble up all the land and turn it into apartments or condos or whatever it is they're going to put up there and ruin this beautiful piece of land. I'm seeing it right here. You said you have the property to the west, probably do the same thing right here.
Yeah.
The property to the southwest, or the lot to the southwest, that's 5 acres. I mean, I hear that they're supposed to put some kind of park there, but I don't know if when that's going to happen or not. So, I mean, I think it'd be prudent to go speak with the residents in that area.
And to be clear, we have spoken with several residents. We just haven't spoken with the neighbors directly to the north.
What neighbors have you spoken to then? Because I think in Row Loop, they're all over to the north of you, aren't they? Are they not?
Yeah,
The 5 acre lot.
yeah, the derelicts.
I've spoken to
we've-
them, yeah.
we've-
You've spoken to them? But you live, there is no property south of them other than,
I'm saying adjacent to the north.
okay.
Council member Ruiz.
Y'all are
Yeah.
two lots north?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Adjacent to the north, we have not, those
Being a
two
little
5
too
acre
specific, I
tracts.
think, with the words.
Okay.
No, so you've spoken with neighbors along Row Loop.
Yes.
But not all of the neighbors along Road.
All of the neighbors, no. I can't say that we've spoken with all of the neighbors. My understanding is the derelicts are kind of the organizers, the power brokers, if you will, of the Row Loop area. And so we reached out to them. We had lunch at our office. We presented the plan.
I mean, you're not wrong. Keep going.
Yeah, and yeah, I think had a great conversation, explained what we wanted to do, and I know there's been some experiences with brokers trying to flip land in the Row Loop area. I think it's very clear that we are not brokers trying to flip land. We are developers. We're incentivized to make this a great product because it affects everything else that we're working on in the area. And so we did not meet with every neighbor. That didn't happen, but we did have I would call it a nice meeting with Beverly and Larry.
Mayor,
Well,
can we
do you mind if we get the scuttlebutt from
Sure.
Yeah.
the mandarins of Row Loop?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
I mean, she does tell us everything going on.
Here's mine. Yes, we did. We were invited to meet with Mr. Fenwick and Mr. Teeman, and they gave us a very nice lunch, but that wasn't much. We have had experiences with other developers that have come in. The 4 that were listed, 2 of them are right across the street that they were. You guys, thank you very much for rejecting that, but I noticed that it seems to be showing on the list as having been approved, and I didn't think that was approved.
It came back and
Y'all came back? How did it?
on the
Okay.
consent agenda.
That surprises me that we did not know that, to come in and speak.
We were
about it.
surprised you weren't here.
I had absolutely no idea. Well, it's those kinds of shenanigans that really kind of make us concerned about what's going on. We do trust the Teeman Land Development. We've seen what they've done. They stand by their word. We have talked to 3 other property owners, and they did attend the planning and zoning meeting, and they supported because somebody's going to get it, and we would like to know what's going to be done.
Talk to us about the connectivity, because I know that part of the concern is that, just like you said, that's been a nice peaceful area where you haven't had people run through. Doug brought up the good astute point that, hey, there's a lack of connectivity here. We also heard about some gating for that. Does that concern you? Is that something that you brought up in your discussions with them?
Oh, I did bring that up.
Okay.
In that, with developing 5 or 10 acres at a time, if you get a lot of developers, all with different ideas, all trying to build at the same time, trying to put in infrastructure, roads, it's going to be a hodgepodge of, instead of a planned community, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be like, what is the thing on Pflugerville, on Emmanuel Road? They have the apartment complex right in the middle of this neighborhood. And we're definitely concerned about it. We love where we are. If anyone knows, we're on the far northeast corner of the loop. We've got a great neighbor that we compete with each other to see who gets the 5 acres mowed sooner. So we really love it, and we know it's going to get developed eventually. You know, when we're all gone, And our kids aren't gonna want it. But we just feel responsible for it right now. The people that are there, they've got other families that live right next to them, and so we're concerned about that. If anything, I would support this more than the 4 that have already been approved by you guys. The 2 at the end of that,
Yeah.
and then that in the corner. Crooks, in my opinion.
But you like this this
Well,
plan?
it's, if somebody's going to do it, that's who I want to do it. I trust them. I know that this zoning could do something else, but I don't think they're going to bait and switch us. I really don't. Where those other 4 developers, in a minute, they get that zoning change and then they flip it. I've got the plan and for the 2 lots in the corner, that it's for sale, $4.3 million with the development plan. They had no intention of building there and being part of it. They just wanted to get it rezoned, and flip it. And, you know, I'm not going to tell you how I feel about those 4 because y'all pretty well know. But if anything, I trust these guys. I trust what they're going to do. And the other neighbors, same thing. They were here in support. I guess that's really
That's the important thing. Is we want to know what the people in the neighborhood think.
about all I can say.
That's what we, yeah.
By the way, I did see surveyors there working on the road.
Ooh.
Yeah, they've been.
Okay.
So
Finally,
Okay.
we're gonna-
All right.
I have no idea.
I'm glad you told me
I have no idea what it's going to look like.
Okay.
But
That's good to know.
He's very happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came to me and he was very happy.
Well, you know, and she promised. She said it.
Yeah, one way or another, it's going to be better.
Yeah.
well,
That's
one
good.
way or another, yeah. If you just, you know, we've got that one place that's about, you know, right where the culvert collapsed. That
Yeah.
looks really nice.
So that's good. That's really good. Good job,
All
Steph.
right. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, so how do we vote this down?
Okay. No one else from the public wishing to speak.
Move to close the public hearing?
Second.
Motion to second, close the hearing. Okay, motion carried.
All right,
Move
this
to
is,
approve
this
the
is the type
ordinance.
of product I've been championing for a while. I'm really excited to see it come forward, so I'm going to move approval.
Second.
Before we vote.
Oh, so, well, now it's
No,
discussion.
I just wanted discussion real
Yeah.
quick. I'll just ask, I know I'll just say, I know the Tiemans are very good about digging wells for irrigation. Maybe consider that in that area, that it might alleviate some of your worries about, smells like rotten eggs, but at least it keeps the grass green, right?
I think, as we know, it's a zoning change. Plats will go before
Yeah.
planning and zoning. They may be able to xeriscape something at that point. They may be able to amenitize the middle.
Yeah, the
but-
Tiemans are always very good about
But
keeping the grass green.
Yeah.
Well, they've got. I mean, let's. And I'm glad you brought that up because I know we've talked about it in general. We need to have a discussion about xeriscape and what we're doing moving forward in these subdivisions because realistically, what the opportunity for water, 90% of your water, again, we'll say it again, 90% of the water that you use at your home is not to wash dishes, wash clothes, or anything else. It's used to dump nice, cleared water back on your grass. And that's where your cost is going, and we're trying to see what we can actually go ahead and ameliorate that issue. That's why, you know, you heard everybody up here having that discussion about what we can do about discussion. And that leads to a further discussion what we do as a policy moving forward with our percentage regarding these green spaces and these other areas right here from that.
I do think it's important that we address home ownership on a reasonable cost basis to give people an entry into the market. And so I'm excited to see more townhome and condo opportunities here in the city.
This looks like, honestly, it looks like Highland Park. And that's where my wife and I got our first house. And that's a good
Hyde
product.
Park. I said Hyde Park, I'm thinking really? Like, really?
Well, and what we do see, if I did the math right, this is 5 units per acre, right? Roughly 5 units per acre.
Yeah.
So even though that looks like a real big green space in the middle, that's probably dramatically less than it would be if it were a traditional single-family neighborhood.
I think it's
I think we
great.
are trying to be a little more responsible in that effect as well
Now-
with our water use.
Now, I saw that whole thing about making the neighbors drink from water hoses. I hope we don't do that over here right there. That was in one of your displays. I was wondering what was going
Yeah,
on.
but that's fun.
You didn't do that when you were young?
No, I do that now.
You have a motion and a second.
Oh, yeah. Green plastic water.
Just let it run till it's too hot in the summertime.
Yeah.
Boy, those hoses, I mean, yeah, think about
Yeah.
that.
Cool down the,
Motion carried.
You fill up the hot tub with the water.
You can't-
If we can run that vote one more time, we missed Mayor Pro Tem Holiday.
Oh,
Somebody got
it
left
didn't
out.
pop up on you. Yeah.
Why is Trista not letting you vote? That's uncomfortable. Oh.
You could show, there we go. I was like, that didn't look like that.
Got it? Okay, thank you. All right. Item 6C. Trista, would you mind reading that for me, please?
I absolutely will. Item 6C is conduct a public hearing and consider approving an annexation ordinance on first reading with the captioned ordinance of the city of Pflugerville, Texas, annexing for full purposes tract of land totaling 82.962 acre of land being 80.218 acres out of the GB's Implement and JV Bergen Survey number 285, abstract number 2370, and Thomas Hancock Survey number 20, abstract number 392, being a portion of Steger Lane and 2.681 acres out of the Andrew Austin Survey number 19, abstract 38 out of the GB's Implement and JV Bergen Survey number 285, abstract number 2370, being a portion of Cameron Road, Travis County, Texas, within the city's extraterritorial jurisdiction. The property is generally located at 17716 Steger Lane, to be known as the 17716 Steger Lane annexation, binding the land to all of the acts, ordinances, resolutions, and regulations of the city, approving a service plan, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you.
Thank you. This annexation request is for an approximate 83-acre property at the southeast corner of Steger Lane and Cameron Road. The property is currently vacant with a future land use designation of traditional neighborhood mixed-use commercial. The city entered into a non-annexation agreement for this property while undeveloped. The property is now proposed for development and therefore subject to annexation. Should have had this slide up while I read that. Here it is. This property is contiguous with current city limits, has been approved by Travis County, and staff recommends approval. I believe the applicant is here to answer any questions on Scuttlebutt. Is that?
This would, so this is where the church is, right?
This
Oh,
is,
No.
Okay, it's to the.
Just north of the church.
Yeah.
this is near what would be Meadowlark Preserve, would be
Yeah.
that development.
So not too far.
Yeah.
Not too, yeah.
North
of the
and,
church.
and,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
what is it,
Contiguous with
Magnolia
city
Ranch
limits.
Estates, a little bit to the south.
I have
Yeah.
a question
Floodplain right there.
about future road improvements that the city would need to invest in order to serve this property.
I asked this
Yes,
question.
so I'm actually we do have research on that. I'm going to defer to Evan to respond to the road improvement costs and expectations.
You better have it down to the penny, Evan.
No, there's no change on the item you provided me, but yeah, not down to the penny.
So we were asked to look at the road surrounding this parcel of land to kind of assess the condition, and so it appears that it has subgrade failure around the whole perimeter, which means that we have to replace it. So an average cost of $2.5 million per mile, average, and we're looking at about 0.94 miles, so approximately a mile. So we just will need to plan for it, once we get further along, if it's developed, and kind of look at their schedule and kind of see when it's going to be complete, and then go in and address the road.
I got lots of opinions.
So that's basically the cost of building a brand-new road.
Yeah.
It's-
That's what he
it
said.
would- Yeah,
We would
it's like
need-
there was no road there at all.
We would need to do some drainage improvements, ribbon curbs on the side. There is no boundary on each side of the road, so that's what's causing some of the failure of the asphalt being pushed out. So we need to put drainage improvements, ribbon curb, subgrade, road. So it would be total rehab. It would be like.
$3 million?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. And I mean, and let's be real. I mean, how many times you've driven out? Well, and I'm going to start forcing Caesar to drive out there now that he lives out there too. I mean, that road's trash.
Drove by it today.
Yeah, it's trash. I mean, that road. I mean, they continue to they continue to do things to just keep it going without a full remodel. And I feel like we'll get to the point.
The street?
Travis County.
Are we talking about Cameron or are we talking about
Say that
Steger?
louder, I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Who owns it?
Travis County?
No, he's now he's set up.
There's a county that is
I'm sorry,
responsible.
Evan, are we discussing Cameron or Steger Lane in this?
Cameron, Steger Lane, and as it goes down to where.
And the continuation on the other side?
Yeah, just down to that corner.
All right.
And would
And-
this development have any cost sharing in the rebuilding of these roads?
That I'm not sure of as far as the development agreements and discussions.
Great question.
I don't have any information on the cost sharing. Generally, when we do make development agreements, there's something included. I don't have any information on what that would be at this time.
It should be our cost.
Is there
If
is
we
there a impact fee assessment on this, or is this on our CIP qualifying for impact fees?
Yes. Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, we're looking at 315 single-family units on the property.
I don't have the number, I'm sorry.
Is that-
But it's service area C for impact fees.
It's service. Oh, it's C.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't matter. It's all the
I mean,
same
if,
right now.
So that
If it
means they would
matters.
pay
Right.
impact fees that would go towards a
It-
fund for roads, but not necessarily.
Not necessarily this
specifically.
one, not necessarily immediately.
But it goes to the pool.
yes.
And
And the amount of the impact fees would not cover the full cost of what we're talking about here in the road.
No,
What would-
15, 20% maybe.
Times.
Yeah.
we've had a conversation about whether or not we want to start changing impact fees of where they're.
To
Yeah.
to the actual
Location.
statutory amount.
I heard a whisper from someone talking about location, but yes, yes, I agree. And I mean, that's probably a conversation we need to have in the future about that, because like when I have no qualms. You know how I feel about marching east, but as we go east, the roads are much worse than anything we got. I think even someone put it, when you come to Pflugerville, you notice why it's different in Pflugerville because of the roads that you have in Pflugerville. And
And the
you-
maintenance
yeah.
and landscape.
And we all know, as soon as this gets built, they're gonna come to us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's already happening on Seal Road and other places, so I think if we are going to annex something, that it's important to know the full cost of what it will be to annex it and to compare that, to the ROI of what the property taxes are going to bring, and there probably could be other roads along the way that they're gonna travel, that are gonna then require widening and improvement as well, whether or not those are in the city or in the county. So, to bring people in and then have them be very disappointed with the conditions of things, that I think we need to really think about that and be strategic when we decide.
Yeah, and it should be fair. It's a balance too. Like I remember when we were redoing Weiss Lane, and it felt like it was a road in Beirut, and it was like, are you kidding me, Arthur? And ultimately, like what Weiss Lane looks like now. So it's a cost balance. Did you say the person's here?
The engineer for the applicant is here. And I
Okay.
also do have information on the estimated taxes. There's been further study that incorporates the anticipated taxes and as well as the costs.
And
We'd like to
and-
I
get
believe
those numbers
that
as
is
well.
with the appendix, but I can pull them up now.
And one of the things we talk about from the dais
Right.
often is about
But I don't know what
development
she's referencing.
paying for itself.
Where's money?
And what I'm hearing so far is development that's not paying for itself.
So
Is there also other utilities like water and wastewater? I don't know what serves this property.
well, we're pulling
We-
all those to Meadowlark right there anyway, and
Okay,
and then we're pulling across Pflugerville Parkway.
And we've sent notification to the school district, water, and police with no issues. They have not reported any issues.
And you say water meaning Manville?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's Manville.
So,
No issues that we are aware of yet, so.
Correct.
Yeah.
So for
And
the
just to-
annexation,
oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, the agreement about annexation services to be provided, that was just a couple of meetings ago or within the last, okay.
Yes.
That was, I just want to make sure I was clear that it was.
Right.
Well, yes, the change is now because that was a non-annexation agreement because the property was not developed. Now that the property is being developed,
Yeah.
that's when the agreement comes
It
into
kicks
play,
in.
where we decide to.
And that change just happened in the last month?
Well, it's part of the process,
Part of the
right?
process.
Oh, right, it's part of
We
the
do that-
process.
We have to put the annexation agreement in place so that then we can annex it, and our next step is gonna be zoning it, and then, they'll get to go through planning and zoning and tell us what's gonna be on it.
So
Although
they-
I think we've already got
So they grabbed
examples
this.
of
I
what they
guarantee they
expect
grabbed
in
it
place there.
decades ago.
Well,
We
it was just
did.
the way it was worded. It was like, well, now it's ready, now it's developed, or, you
Yeah.
know, and I was like, but that was just a month ago. So just wanted to be clear. Thank you for bearing with me during my training period.
Mayor, oh my God, okay. You took off those training wheels a long time ago. Mayor, can we have the engineer, who apparently you're the lamb brought to slaughter up here, but go ahead. So obviously you've been paying attention to a lot of our questions.
Sure.
What can you answer?
So, as far as the roadway goes, I don't have an answer on that yet. I think it was kind of dependent on what happens here tonight as well, right? As far as the water goes, you're correct, it's Manville. What else am I missing here? What's another question?
Do you have
I
questions?
imagine
for me?
wastewater is city of Pflugerville, and you'll probably connect into an interceptor in that area.
Correct, I believe so, yes.
So, Councilman Rogers asked a good point about whether or not paying for itself, because of the ROI on this. And obviously, you know, you're cognizant, you're aware of, hey, we do want to march east, we want to develop, be good stewards, but at the same time, I think of Windermere, I think of these other places that we've had around, like where you bring these neighborhoods in and they automatically point y'all, why do my roads suck? Why is this horrible here, right there as well? So you can understand why that's a concern for us.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, have you had this conversation internally, or is this the first you've heard that this may be a concern?
I don't think the conversation, I think they're aware of it, because I mean, we've been to the site ourselves. I think you're correct in the fact that they are terrible roads. As far as like the full extent of fixing it, I think we were kind of waiting on the TIA as well to see what that mitigation was as well. Because I mean, I think 300 units, we're probably going to need some turn lanes in there as well. So I didn't want to, I don't know where that falls like exactly right now, right? So, and right now we're just, like you said, in the annexation period, and zoning is to come next, so.
So the annexation evolutionary period, basically.
Correct.
I like the way you
So
put it.
I'm curious, this may be more for staff. I did ask questions about this to staff at the last minute earlier today, and they got back pretty quickly with a one sheet.
Wait, when did Melody switch places?
Well, exactly.
I believe
But-
these questions are very important.
Yes, but it.
Clearly, she's having a positive influence on the quality of discussion.
Absolutely, absolutely. I did receive a one-sheet fiscal impact analysis.
We're about to show it.
Okay, are we gonna be able to show that?
Try to
Because
pull it up.
I think
We're
that's
trying.
really useful in evaluating the ROI on this type of project. Although, to be fair, we're only in the annexation phase, not even the zoning phase yet, but it looks like you've got a pretty good plan in front of you.
And it's
Now,
getting.
this is what I wanted to see.
Yes.
So what I'm
And then
seeing
staff
is-
also provided me with the estimate. I think, David, what did you say you thought the road cost was gonna be? Mr.
3
Rogers?
million.
It's 3.
3 million.
3.
Okay, the estimate I got from staff was closer to 2.2.
Yeah.
Did you add in your contingency?
That was an average with
Okay.
contingency, yes.
But
Okay.
were they talking about all the drainage improvements?
Yeah.
Were they talking of the
Yeah.
curbs as well? I mean,
'Cause Evan just-
Or were they just talking about just the replacing the asphalt?
That estimate did come from Evan.
Yeah, but Evan just gave a different number.
Okay, so what's the real number?
We got a
He
low,
rounded up.
2.2 or 3?
well, we
Yeah.
got a low estimate, and then we got a high estimate. And we asked two different consultants and didn't tell them. We just wanted to get their opinion of it, saying it's a full rebuild because there's subgrade failure. And so we got an average low and average high. And then so the average high, I thought I said 2.5.
2.5, it looked like
Yes.
was the high. The
And so-
low at 1.66.
And that doesn't include engineering cost. I mean, then after you go and you do your assessments, you have to do your geotechnical analysis to really understand the subgrades, so you have to know how to rebuild. So there's a lot of unknowns and a lot of assumptions being made. And but when you look at
3 million is the number with the contingency.
Yeah,
built
so
into it.
that's what we're asking. That's why I mean,
and
Okay.
we're not holding you to the number.
Yeah.
We just heard two different numbers. So we're
Yeah,
trying
so
to
that-
figure out.
A
that-
ballpark that we think.
Yeah.
that number does not consider the engineering cost and geotechnical investigation.
Okay.
So what is this retail of 17,500 square feet?
I actually apologize. I don't have the full answer on that. I know they're planning on doing retail there. I just don't know the full details of it, so I apologize.
Arterial frontage, right? We might want to do something along that.
Yeah.
You've got,
I mean,
you know,
in
you got
fairness,
87
they
acres,
gotta
you're
get
gonna have
through
some
this
retail.
Well, and that's part of our directive, right, is that you bring us residential, you better have some commercial components too.
Put that on the hard corners. Yeah.
So, yeah, our expectation would be almost $1 million a year in property tax, 161 in sales tax revenue approximately. I don't know if that's enough to cover all the services in the area, but it goes a long way towards the roads. I see fees and permits. Is that total fees and permits inclusive of the impact fees? Is that our expectation?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't have that answer for you, but I can get that for you.
So we know it's probably
Well,
not going
you were- I
to
was
go
trying-
ahead.
I'm sorry, Brady.
I don't know. I was just going to say, Doug asked the question about whether or not their fees are going to cover the entirety. Probably not. I mean, for all service.
Well, no, the fees up front, obviously
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
no.
But
If we're talking 300 units, it is roughly $1,500 in impact fees, so we're talking about $450.
450.
The number you threw out was about, it would cover about 20% of the roadway impact fees, and this is.
Yeah, it might be
20%.
closer to 30%,
So Evan,
Yeah.
do you know
and then taxes covering the rest.
is Cameron, was that on their bond, the county?
Under Travis County?
Yeah.
It is.
yes.
Okay. No. So it was on their bond package, so it's already been approved.
Approved.
Oh, I'm not sure if it
I should, let me double check. It should have been, I believe so. Let
Okay.
me,
So we
Because-
get any of that money?
Well, no.
Already supposed
Well,
to
what
go
I'm,
towards
what I'm,
it.
but what,
Even if we annex before they build it?
I need that answer.
yeah. So you see where I'm going.
We'll hold off on the
Well, that was
annexation of
my
just the
question.
road
Yeah.
until after Travis County
I believe
fixes it.
I believe we're legally required to annex the adjacent roadway.
I asked that question and that was the answer I got.
But we can have conversations about, okay, listen, this is part of the bond package. Now that this, what can you use on other parts?
I'm sorry,
Double
is Gerald
dozen.
already over at the commission? Is he gonna help us out?
Oh Lord, he gave a call this morning, but
I recall our conversation last night about our concern about how quickly the roads
so
and the
this,
bonds have
so
been
this,
approved and
this,
has
this,
not happened.
so this goes to the list. This, you're exactly right. This goes to the list. I mean, it has to go to the list.
If we annex it away from Travis County, then the money that they had allocated to fix this is now no longer
Is
available.
it
No.
still
That's not-
dedicated? It should.
I don't
Well,
know.
no.
Persist.
It still exists and
Yeah.
still
But it
persists.
will be reallocated to something else, not this road.
Oh,
We can't speak for them.
It's still
It's
a
still
road
in the-
in
yeah.
the county.
It's still a road in the county.
They still got a lot
Same
of road on
taxpayers.
that county that needs to
Same
be fixed.
taxpayers.
But just not this portion would no longer.
Yeah,
be there.
exactly.
What I'm saying is that road still
That's not
exists
true.
in Travis County, it just also happens to be within our jurisdiction as well, so why would that?
It does not
Okay.
automatically change, no.
Okay,
So we can have a conversation,
We would-
and that's what we do. We have a conversation.
so what you're saying is that
I'm nervous is what I'm saying.
if a road
You
is
should
in the
be.
city limits, that Travis County money could still go to
It-
improve that
Sure.
road?
Lawfully, yes. policy would be the question.
Are you saying that just to make sure it's on the record, or are you saying that because you're
So,
question?
We're trying to
seeking to
Can
understand.
I clarify? That portion was not on the bond. It was the east-west portion on the southern part of Cameron from 130 to Fox Grove.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so there's
There
no
may not be-
current
So
allocated.
no. So they're gonna do what they're doing right now, which is you fix those potholes, you place a little paver on it, and yeah, you're going Dukes of Hazzard style out there.
I was
It's a-
able
it's a
to
mess.
review a little bit more of the breakdown of the permits and fees, and it does not include the traffic
Oh,
improvement.
that does not include the traffic impact.
Oh, really?
Oh, well then,
Okay.
the number's gonna be bigger than that.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. This would be a very helpful slide for all future things.
I was thinking the
Oh Lord! See, I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Well, it's the big
Look
picture
at
that we
you
need to
improving the
consider.
quality of discourse.
Oh, you stop! You stop!
Oh, there are things that it doesn't include though, right, Melanie? There's more that could be on there.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
Well,
Bunny
yeah, there's
rabbit
a lot of
extermination
things of,
This
you are
is-
extending police service out further, and other things,
This is
so.
revenue, not expense.
Yeah, where's the coyote control? Where's that? All right, I think
Thank you
we've-
for this information, for all of staff who helped put this together. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I feel like we've gotten our serious questions answered. Hey, you guys did a great job.
Yes, very much appreciate it.
Well, I'm just gonna echo what she said.
And we look forward to seeing y'all soon with more information.
Every time we have a project.
So is this a public hearing? It is.
Yes.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
No one else in the audience?
I bet you're waiting to see if someone would say something.
Move to approve the ordinance.
Second. I'll tell you, we are have to be one of the hottest benches in all of Texas.
Motion carried.
Yeah. Hey, we overrode her. That's all we need to do. She's out of control, riding road around here.
Okay, moving on to our regular
I'm
agenda,
not in control of anything.
according to my book. Item 7A is discuss and consider action to approve an ordinance on first reading with caption reading, an ordinance authorizing the lease of the city property located at 105 East Pecan, Pflugerville, providing cumulative repealer and severability clauses, providing for open meeting and establishing an effective date.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mayor Pro Tem. Tonight before you is a ordinance to approve a lease agreement for 105 East Pecan. Previously, you've seen a lease agreement for 101 East Pecan. 105 East Pecan is the operating address for the East Pecan Cigar Lounge, so we've made this lease agreement specific to that portion. You'll also see within the exhibit the highlighted areas that will be leased from this building. This building is owned by the city. Previously, we had a lease with Delton Southern. At the request of that tenant, they requested a termination of the lease agreement. The operator, East Pecan Cigars, requested to continue operating within the building. This agreement before you is a lease agreement with East Pecan Cigars LLC with Andre Artis as the representative. The lease agreement includes $1,200 a month for the rent. It begins March 6th and ends June 20th. March 6th is when the current lease agreement is effectively terminated. I know there's some scuttlebutt about the month-to-month terms. If you look at section 12, there is a holding over period. So if the tenant would like to continue outside after June 20th, they can continue month-to-month for the same amount of rent, which is $1,200. Council requested some receipt of previous payments to the last tenant for 6 months. Staff has received those and has confirmed those to be accurate for the past 6 months.
Thank you.
Good deal. It's a public hearing.
It is requested that if you decide to approve this item, that when you make your motion, that you clarify that it is effective today, so that way there is not a gap between March 6th and the second reading on March 11th.
So I appreciate your details on paragraph 12. I am curious, I refer to our council, that feels like it conflicts with paragraph 1B that says there will be no extension of term on this lease, but also that paragraph says that the term will not exceed 6 months, yet the time frame is only 4.5 months. I'm trying to reconcile that.
Indeed, there will be no extension of term on this lease until the term is maximum period of 6 months. And then what was the other?
Will the tenant be able to extend on a month-to-month basis?
Yeah, a month to month. I believe that they can, because then you're not extending the term of the lease. You're allowing a month, just
becoming a month.
on a month to month basis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it becomes a different instrument. Same thing.
All right, then I move approval with the ordinance effective immediately.
Second.
Motion and second to approve item 7A. Any other discussion?
I don't think we have any more scuttlebutt.
No more scuttlebutt?
Is that the new
Language. Would Uncle Steve approve? No, he would not.
Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Item 7B is discuss and consider action to approve a resolution establishing the name of the new multi-generational recreation center.
Yeah, I don't know about this whole Rogers Hall thing, but you go. Let's go.
Hey, man.
Good evening, once
You got
again.
it, you flaunt it.
So I know I am the last item between you and your homes tonight, so I will try to
No,
get
we
through
have
this.
one more.
Oh, we have one more?
Don't worry.
Yeah.
My apologies. I guess I was hoping I was. Just for your
Wow.
sake. For your sake. Okay, well, that didn't land how I wanted it to. So tonight before you for consideration is a resolution establishing the name of the new multi-generational recreation center. I know last night you received a presentation from staff at the PFISD joint meeting, so I'll keep some of this brief, but just at a high overview, you are aware that we have a new multi-generational recreation center as part of our Downtown East project. Part of this is to create a center that will support high-quality community services for generations to come. When council began the Downtown East project, you adopted 19 goals for the project, knowing that we wanted the Downtown East project, including the multi-generational recreation center, to be a vibrant hub for physical health and wellness, mental and emotional well-being, social and community connection, youth development, culture and creative expression, meaningful intergenerational interaction, and enriching the Pflugerville community. When we thought about those 19 goals, including having the multi-generational recreation center serve as a hub for physical health, mental well-being, social connection, and youth development. Throughout the design and development of the multi-generational recreation center, it'll offer diverse programming, including 4 high school-sized basketball courts that can convert into pickleball and volleyball, a pool, indoor turf field, fitness area, classrooms, event space, an indoor track, and I know all of the scuttlebutt around a first-ever standing slide where you can stand and slide down, and I look forward to all of the competitions that staff will have amongst each other on that. But we'll also even have retail space. This is designed for all ages. It will feature a multi-generational lounge, child watch, indoor playground, and an adventure track for walking and movement. Now, I have said the word multi-generational recreation center several times tonight. A lot of times. And I can imagine that as we move forward through this process, saying that so many times might get tiring. It might lose the excitement. When we think about what people will talk about, where they might want to go to meet one another. Hey, do you want to grab a cup of coffee at the multi-generational recreation center? That's a lot to say. So we're at the point in the process where it's time to name the recreation center. We have talked with the Recreation Steering Committee as well as the Facility Subcommittee, thrown around a couple names, but tonight before you for your approval, and I'll go through the reasoning in just a second, the resolution to establish a name is to establish the Pflugerville Multi-Generational Recreation Center to be the Monarch Pflugerville Recreation Center. The reason for the Monarch is when we think about what we want this space to be, a space of transformation, a space of new beginnings, a space of health and wellness. The monarch butterfly encompasses a lot of that. The monarch butterfly emerges as a meaningful symbol. It's a symbol of transformation, endurance, and connection. It has been known to represent joy, positivity, and the promise of new beginnings. We use the monarch to create an acronym to provide that feel of what we want this center to be. Movement, outdoors, nature, adventure, recreation, community, and health. The name reflects Pflugerville's commitment to fostering a space that inspires activity, well-being, and a strong sense of community. The monarch butterfly, as it establishes that new beginning feel, this is a new beginning for Pflugerville, for our community, but also can be a new beginning for someone who's just starting their fitness journey, or maybe they're new to the city and they're trying to meet some friends for coffee, or they're just trying to new class out at the recreation center. For you, we recommend for your approval a resolution to name the Pflugerville Multi-Generational Recreation Center the Monarch.
I don't know. I really like multi-generational.
I was like, say it 3 times fast.
Let me say, it's creative, it's a nice use of the acronym, but we live in a democracy. I've been hearing a lot last week or two about we don't have a king in this country, and what's a monarch? And also, we've gotten blowback off and on over the years about the city council not being responsive, like we're a monarchy, like we don't, we're all kings, dukes. We don't have to pay attention to our citizens. I think it sends a mixed message at best, and I would ask the committee to go back and come up with something a little less dictatorial in there.
Would you feel better if it had a monarch butterfly on the name? Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, but also think long term as opposed to just right now in this specific moment.
And just my comment, and Mr. Rogers, thank you for your input there, but I don't believe the majority of our community thinks that way. I really don't. I mean, this is a community of family, a community of friends, a community of generations, and I don't think monarch is going to be offensive.
I think that if I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I didn't have anything on that. I mean, I want to sit with this a moment, but I also was trying to figure out like things that we're already currently doing that tie in with the monarch butterfly. And I believe that Pflugerville is actually considered a sanctuary city, I believe, for the butterflies. And we make a really big deal about it. And so, yeah. But Mr. Rogers, that did not come up for me. That is concerning, but thank you. I don't know that everybody would have that mindset.
You don't have your tiara at home?
Well,
I didn't realize we were a sanctuary city for butterflies. So
We are, and I think that
Thank you
should
for
be
sharing
played up
that.
a bit.
Kimple.
Oh, okay, Kemple.
I knew I was having.
Kimple. I'm like, Kimple.
Well, I would like to see more of that integrated,
Yeah.
and publicized, because if I didn't know about it, there's probably some other people that don't, and so that'd be good to share.
Well, the thing I thought about is, I agree with you. I don't think most people think like that. I also think that we often talk about, and Jim always brought up, like what the design looks like for that. So I think that with that, I think it's a great name. Incorporate some of the, butterflies, design it out of that
If we're going to
aspect.
go with that, I do think we want a giant orange butterfly on the outside of the building.
Blue and green.
Yeah.
Right,
City
our
council.
colors. And I love the concept as well, like, when I think about a butterfly, I think about the transitional stages that it must go through, and it kind of makes me think about our city of Pflugerville. And then I kept saying it out loud to myself, the Monarch. It kind of sounds like a club, kind of, like I want to go there. So just keep saying it, if people were saying in the community, how would that feel for you? I think the Monarch, it feels really good. And most people will probably think about the butterfly first and what that means for them. Our city is transitioning.
And I think the acronym itself, in terms
love
of the the images of the words that we picked, I think certainly connect to what we would love to have in Pflugerville.
And I think that if we were talking about a city hall, I'd agree with you 110%.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we're
this
talking
is
about
right
rec
next to
center.
the city hall.
But we're talking about the rec center, which is, it's not city hall.
We're gonna call the city hall the tyranny.
The tyranny?
Yeah, that's good.
Well, it is
The
good to
revolution.
hear from different perspectives because, you know, you have those pictures where one person sees one thing and the other person sees the other thing. So it's good to have these conversations because not everyone thinks in the same way. So it's good to anticipate how it might be interpreted to take those steps to have a different message.
The dress is definitely blue.
Blue and gold, right?
No, no.
I was gonna say blue and gold. I know someone in my household will demand it be blue and gold.
Brianna, I don't think you have anything else to add, do you? Okay.
Mary, would you?
Great job.
Wait, are we voting on this?
It's an action.
Yeah, motion to approve the new naming of the Multi-Generational Movement and Involvement Center. The Monarch.
The Monarch.
You
second.
just messed up the acronym already. Great job.
That's a learning process.
Yeah. You heard what Kim said. It's an evolution. We're evolved.
Why do we call it the caterpillar?
Yeah. Who spells
That's
caterpillar?
the starting
Okay.
point, though. We want to focus on the goal.
I love it. We can't
The
spell
cocoon.
caterpillar.
We'll call it the cocoon.
I just
Both
need to
of those
sit
are
with it
better.
for a little longer.
Miss Holiday.
The caterpillar.
Okay. Motion carried with the exception of Mr. Rogers.
He's gonna call it tyranny.
It's a monarch.
Monarch.
All right.
I'm not the monarchist.
We have one item
I'm
left
the
here.
anti-monarchist.
7E, which we had an executive session, and so we have some direction in terms of what we want our legal representation to address or to pursue. Or we got copies of the?
Yes.
Is
we do.
everybody good with that?
Yeah. Mayor, would you entertain a motion?
Yes.
Motion to approve the settlement agreement.
Second.
I think we had to have a certain wording in it, didn't we?
No,
I thought
no.
we were requested for certain wording.
No, I think that was just.
No.
No, everything was. I
At
think
least
Yeah.
we needed special.
Yeah.
wording.
Yeah.
Everyone
That's what
became
she said.
comfortable with the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
There were some questions.
Have a motion
that
and
were
a second.
Involved.
I think
Yeah.
we have a second.
Yeah, a second. Or just put David down. Just force him.
Yeah. Okay. Motion carried. And having no other scuttlebutt, we are adjourned.
What are you, Tony Stark?
Now we get to go home and go watch Luca whoop up on the Mavericks.